My name is Kaylee Newport, and I will be talking about ethics in software. And this is for my BUSI 201 class. My first slide is all about creator and user responsibility. And I'll first get into the creator of technology. And they kind of hold the responsibility to ensure that integrity and accessibility of the data is being conveyed correctly to their audience or clients. And the first point that I have for this is professionalism. A lack of communication can cause products they create to fail, and also a lack of ethics training can cause mass unemployment and fraud. And this may seem extreme, but it can happen. And the next point is all about privacy. I was looking at a couple acts that had been passed, and Electronic Communications Privacy Act came up, and it's kind of all about protecting wire, oral, and electronic communications, and that act applies to email, telephone conversations, and data stored electronically. And the next act was USA Patriot Act, and this allows law enforcement to use surveillance against more crimes of terror, like a security terrorism case. The user of technology, I use the point of operation, and it is the user's responsibility to operate also in integrity and use good stewardship over the technology that they are using and given, which can go into not taking advantage of it. The little bubble that you see, security, to start off, both creator and users should take security measures. The creator more so should keep customers' information private and out of the public, because if they have a trusting software, it will lead to their clients trusting you. The user should keep their own data secure and not share it with others. And the next slide is all about absolute truth and using data. Absolute truth are concrete facts that cannot be modified. Science will say that there's no such thing as absolute truth, and as Christians, we know that the Bible and all it says is absolute truth. Using data is using tools that can help a person's client come to a resolution. And the balance between these two is organization and understanding, and this can help make a business successful and true to its customers. It also can help maintain balance within that. And merging the two ideas of reaching your goal and using absolute truth can help you have a happy medium that remains ethical. And the application that I have for this is kind of realizing that the culture has a way of impacting people. And for me, that culture is Liberty University. And Liberty uses the honor system where the faculty trusts the students that they won't be looking or using and sharing test answers and quizzes. And this kind of goes for turning in assignments too, like papers and, like I said before, test and quizzes. And especially online, this is critical because sometimes in online classes, I have to sign my name saying that I didn't cheat. And yes, that's just important. For the world and for job in the future, when I end up getting a job, I need to realize that the pressure of perfection and success can get in the way of the ethics that I learned growing up, such as money, peer pressure from boss or employees. And that's why it's important to train employees so they won't lose track. It's kind of what I mentioned before in the first slide, how companies should train their employees ethically. And the verse that I found for this was Colossians 3:23, and that says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human matters." And I found through many years that working for God and working to obtain the characteristics that He has will take you farther and make you happier than if you work for yourselves, and you will only fail if you do that. This slide is Excel and Access. And I read an article by Simon Hurst called The Ethical Implications of Asserting Proficiency in Microsoft Excel. And it sounds like a mouthful, but he talks about skills in Excel and what's necessary and needed to go into IT work. And although the article wasn't super interesting to me, there was a quote at the end of it by David Stephen, who was a former manager of ICAEU, which is the Institute of Chartered Accounts in England and Wales. And it says, a thorough understanding of the tools being used is not just a commercial imperative, but for ICAEU, an ethical requirement. And although he's talking about solely his institution, this can go for any company. And kind of understanding the tools that are handed to you can be ethically successful. And that is all for my presentation. These are my references, and I'm going to stop this. So thank you for listening.